shirt came in.
I am Groot.
Oh, that thing where we have to stay inside for probably ever? Yeah, I heard about that. I'm so bored.
I am Groot.
Did it.
I am Groot.
I guess it did that too.
I'm Groot.
I kind of set a time for that.
I'm Groot.
I'm watching one Godzilla movie a night and I'm halfway through the series.
I am Groot.
That's another show.
I am Groot.
That's right.
I am Groot.
Well, what should we watch, Gert? I've got a lot here.
I am Groot.
I don't know. There's a lot here. We got every MST3K. Except for The Gauntlet, but that's on Netflix. We can watch that if we need to. We've got all of home movies. We got Kids in the Hall. We got Star Trek, Next Gen, and Original Series. So much here. All of He-Man and She-Ra. You know what? You decide.
I am Groot.
Groot, I bought every DVD here. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't want to watch it at some point in my life. You pick anything you want to watch.
I am Groot.
Trancers 4 and 5. How about Puppet Master 4 and 5? They're good, right? They're killer. Hey, killer.
I am Groot.
Trancers 4 and 5. You know, I'm not seeing them. I don't know where they are. We might have to watch something else. Transformers?
I am Groot.
Oh.
What?
4 and 5. So they are. Hooray! Let's go watch Trancers 4 and 5.
I'm Groot.
Geek back again. After what, 2-3 years, I've been slacking. But check it out. Got a little birthday gift for myself. This is my new T-shirt. I love it. It's got my catchphrase, and they didn't even know it. If it's my catchphrase, I don't know if I can lay claim to that. But anyway, a little while ago, it was at the beginning of this whole quarantine situation where Dirt made a video about like lesser known movies to binge when you're home avoiding people like the rest of the world is right now. And the first movie on his list was Trancers. And I love Trancers. It is an amazing film. Perfect B sci-fi trash at its greatest. But then they made 5 more of them. And they got less good as time went on. And I remember watching these in high school, maybe a little bit after, loving these movies. And I didn't watch them again for like 10 years or so. I mean, I watched the first one a bunch. I bought it again on Blu-ray when it came out and saw that like mini movie they never released on there and all that. But fast forward to Dirt making this list, and I messaged him and was like, oh my gosh, Trancers, love the movie. And we got to talking, and we decided to make a little video about our thoughts on the series. We only got through up to Trancers 3, and it turned into like a 3 or 4 hour discussion. I hope he was able to cut that video down, because he made it into a video, and it's supposed to be coming up sometime. If it's up now, there will be a link to it on this somewhere, either at the end of the video or in the description, probably both. We'll see. But he suggested I do a review on Trancers 4 and Trancers 5, and oh boy, I liked them when I was a kid, and they did not hold up. I love this because this is part of a 5-part or a 5-disc box set, right? And it's called the Definitive Edition. Trancers 6 is not in here. Thank God. Trancers 6 does not exist. Okay, let's pretend that never happened, because it really didn't. Trancers 4, or a little history behind these. These were both filmed at the same time. All Back to the Future 2 and 3, or Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame kind of thing. And it shows. They kind of redefine what a Trancer is in this series, in this 2-parter. We pick up a little bit after Trancers 3. And where we started there, Jack has a robot partner named Shark, who kind of reminds me of Nemesis now. And Trancers are gone, basically. They don't definitively say Trancers are all gone, unless you're listening to Tim Thomerson talk about it. Because they always make claims that never really stick. And I don't know if that's by design or if they just forget or what. But beginning of Trancers 4, Jack comes back from some mission with Shark's head, because you can't have a killer all-purpose robot being able to trash anybody who comes near. There's no movie. So, yeah, Jack's without his robot partner now, which sucks because Shark was an awesome character. They used him for 20 minutes in the entire series. And that bites. But Jack gets back home from some mission, and to find out the guy he's working for is stooping his ex-wife. Which I think Jack thought they still had a thing going on, which I don't know why you would think that. Jack doesn't know how to deal with women. I really don't think he does. And it really shows in these. Before, he was the stereotype, like, oh, I'm a badass, but like, it's not like I don't disrespect women. I just treat them like every guy would treat a woman in 1985 to 1995. Trancers 4, he walks into a bar, talks to a girl who does not give him any respect, and kind of rightfully so. I think he refers to her as a dame at one point, or he uses a bunch of those titles you would give to women when you can't just call them a woman or something. I'm not gonna act like I understand anything when it comes to talking to women or trying to respectfully ask a girl for her time or a date or something like that. I know nothing, which is why I've been single for 10 plus years. God, is it? Anyway, he finds out later this girl does not give him any kind of slack. Like, he'll try to say something witty, and she'll be like, you're not impressing me, and he'll immediately kind of get defensive. And it ends well. Not really. He goes back to work the next day, still crotchety about, like, oh, you're still boinking my ex. And then he goes into this time machine for his next mission. Problem is, a monster from the last mission regenerated inside there overnight and attacked him while he's in the time machine. And a fight ensues in this tiny one-man chamber. Electronics get fizzled. He gets thrown to another dimension where it's medieval times-esque. Magic is a thing. His tech weapons no longer work the right way. And Trancers are very different. But here's the thing. Whenever we learn a tidbit of Trancers lore, Jack has already known about it. It's as if this has always been the way Trancers are, and he has always known it. It's just never come up. I honestly think this is laziness on the part of the writers. I don't blame the character of Jack Death for this at all. Either Jack is like, oh yeah, I knew that, and is really good at making you think that he's telling you the truth, or the writers just didn't think about it. Just move on. Nobody's defined what a Trancer is in 30 years, or however long in between movies. But Trancers were always kind of zombie-esque, and then in Trancers 3, they were kind of a stereotype Captain America-esque super soldier program that you could turn on and off like the Hulk. And in this, they're vampires. They're straight up vampires. Almost lore-wise, there's no definitive origin on where the Trancer came from. There's a lot of mystical mumbo-jumbo about their beginnings and how they came to this place. And it's sounding like it was very recent. Like within 10 years they showed up. Out of nowhere, apparently. But they are ruling this world of people. Everybody else is meat, basically. And they don't cast reflections, which Jack immediately knows a Trancer doesn't do. And again, there's something that's never come up before, but like, that's something that should come up. That's something you would point out if you're trying to fight Trancers. Like, hey, guys, we're all going after these Trancers. Bring them here with, because you can tell if somebody's a Trancer if they don't cast a reflection. That's kind of an important statement to make. And it only comes up in these films. But anyway, there's a group of Trancers living in castles. They're led by a guy called, God, what's his name? Right. They're led by a guy named Caliban. And his son Prospero is the black sheep. He doesn't like being a Trancer. He doesn't like hurting people. There are times where he has to trance and feed like a vampire / Trancer to survive because the hunger's too much for him. But there's no turning of Trancers in this. That's something else I only thought of just now. You don't get turned into a Trancer. You're just a Trancer and that's it. You're born that way. What? No. See, up until 3, they kind of had a legitimacy to what a Trancer could be. And in this, they throw it all out the window, and their whole answer is alternate reality. The plot is all over the place. Jack shows up. He's a guy in a trench coat with stuff that doesn't work. All he's got is a knife that can cut through seemingly anything, which is something that they've established in the first of these 2 movies. So that kind of makes sense. I don't know how you can make that not work and be inventive and funny. Like, he had the long second watch, which is a watch that could slow down time for everybody but you for 10, or no, it was slow down time to the fact where, like, you're moving in normal time, but everybody else is slow to a crawl for 10 seconds. In these movies, because he's in a different reality, that is reversed, where he is slowed down. He has a regular lighter that blasts out like a flamethrower. Kind of funny, has its uses. And he has this laser gun that is just a light bullet projector, at least during the first movie. Second one, it works. There's so much magic in this. In the second movie, the plot revolves around them going to the Castle of Unrelenting Terror. Jack laughs at that, as he should, as anyone who's ever heard of such a title for such a place has ever heard. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't care if you're trying to be funny. Pretend you give a shit about your plot. By the time these movies came out, they didn't care anymore. They just wanted to see Tim Thomerson kick the shit out of a lot of people, which, by the way, Tim Thomerson is amazing. He's a great actor. Love Jack Death as a character. I don't think the writers knew what to do with him. They just say, hey, Trancers a franchise that is well established, even though it's not that popular. Let's milk it till it's dead before it even gets its footing. I really wanted to like these guys. I went in fresh because I hadn't seen these movies in like 20-some years since high school. I graduated in 99. It's 2020. That's 99, 2000. Yeah, that's 20 years since I've seen these movies. So I went in fresh, and I really remembered enjoying these movies. And like, they were a definite departure, but I didn't mind that at the time. It's like, hey, it's Jack in a new place where he can fish out of water scenario. Sometimes that's fun, sometimes it's not. Usually it is. It is not. Jack doesn't belong here, and it's never fun to see him try to adapt. Partly because he doesn't try to adapt. He wants to go home. There's no reason for him to be like, maybe I could try this for a few minutes. Except when the girl he's trying to shop, which, by the way, is a carbon copy, like a dimensional duplicate of the girl he tried to hit on in the bar. We met her in the fourth movie for 5 minutes, and suddenly she's the new love interest. But it's not the badass girl who rejects his advances. It's the girl who's a slave, who's the type of person to be like, he'll be like talking in his sleep, and he brings up that other girl's name for some reason. He's like, oh, Lyra, and she's like, oh, hello, and like, who are you? I guess I'm Lyra because you like that name, right? No. This is the one time I like Jack as a character in these, by the way. I think they forgot how to write Jack Death as a character. Because, yeah, he's a badass. He takes no shit. But he can still adapt. In these movies, he cannot adapt. The one time I like him as a character is when this woman comes up and tries to be like, I'm whatever you want to be. I am your fucking sponge to worship you and whatever. And like, he's like, no, that's not okay. You are a person. You deserve freedom. You deserve rights. You deserve your own goddamn opinion. And she is not getting the hint. Maybe for like 5 minutes out of the entire 2-movie run, she takes the hint a little bit. And any time you feel like, hey, maybe she's getting the idea, it's ruined at the end of the movie when Jack goes back and they're like, oh, I wonder if we'll ever see them again. She's like, oh, it's okay. Jack left me a little something, rubbing her belly. Ah! Trancers 6 was awful and by no means worth watching, but these are coming close to that. I'm trying to focus on the good. Okay, Prospero is a very entertaining character. He's very stereotypical, but it works. The whole movie, Jack is like, fuck you, you're a Trancer, I don't like you. That makes sense, because his wife was killed by a Trancer before they brought her back, so he has an endearing hatred of Trancers. To trust one is against everything in his mind. And the whole second movie, Prospero's trying to be like, dude, I can't help who I was born as. Can you give me a fucking break? And Jack can't, because you're a fucking Trancer. Which, by the way, they negate at the end of the movie. Like, because Prospero goes with him to his world, unintentionally, I don't think. Because Jack's first thing is like, hey, first thing we need to do is get this kid back to his home. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm not a Trancer here. I want to hang out here. He had a love interest in that other world. He had character and depth. He evolved as a character. Now suddenly they turn off the Trancer and he's like, I'm good. Let's hang out. Everything I liked about these movies was up at the forefront. It's medieval times. There's rebels fighting a dictatorship of Trancers. Vampire elements. The son who doesn't like being there and wants to switch sides and doesn't like who he has grown to be. That was fun 20 years ago, but it's not enough to hide the crap anymore. I recommend you go watch these movies. Go watch them at least once. Decide for yourself, hey, are these entertaining? Are they not? I really wish they were. There's one other thing. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Alan Oppenheimer's in these movies. Skeletor's in these fucking movies, but not a Skeletor. He's a wise old man who can see the future through drawings. Who they kill halfway through the first movie. But he still gets top billing in the second one for flashback scenes. And one character, like, imagining he's there for a scene. I think in total, he's maybe in the movie for like 15 minutes, and he's like number 5 in the credits. Which I'm fine with, because he deserves that spot. He's an amazing actor, vocally and not. The only other live-action thing I've seen him in was Hiding with Death, which is a Gemini Man 2-episode made-for-TV movie on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Go see it, Riding with Death, Season 8. I don't know what episode number, but it's amazing. Anyway. Go watch them once. They're worth watching once. Make your own decision. You've heard my thoughts on it. I hope I haven't spoiled too much. There's a lot in here I did not bring up. How Jack wins in the first movie, how he wins in the second one. I'm going to give a minor spoiler. So here's your spoiler warning for Trancers 4. And a little bit in Trancers 5. Caliban dies at the end of 4. But he comes back at the beginning of Trancers 5 through no explanation. He's shot by a laser and disappears. And then one of his followers grabs a painting and I think chants some kind of magic spell. The painting splits open. No, the painting of Caliban morphs into Caliban laying there on the floor. I'm like, okay, what'd I miss? It's not how you make a movie. You know what? You've heard my thoughts. I hope you enjoy it. I really hope you do, because Trancers is a franchise that needs to come back. They need to bring it back, reboot it, please. Bring Tim Thomerson in as an original Jack Death, training in a new guy. Pretend 3, 4, and 5 didn't happen. 2 is passable. 1 is amazing. And just go from there. Have Jack be like the old police captain in Angel City, training in some new recruit. Because Trancers isn't Trancers without Jack Death. And it goes to show you that the character of Jack Death has outgrown the definition of what a Trancer is. The only reason it's called Trancers is because that's what the first movie was called. The original title for the first movie was supposed to be Future Cop, and I wish they'd kept that title, because Jack is a future cop. That makes sense. I want to see stories about Jack Death. I couldn't give 2 shits about Trancers anymore, because they don't give 2 shits about Trancers anymore, because they keep changing what a Trancer is. But I hope you liked this video. I hope you like the Trancers videos. Please go check them out. They might be on Netflix, on YouTube. I don't know. I have no idea where you can find them. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon. Download or buy the DVD 5 box set. I think I paid like $20 for it. But this was a couple of years ago, before Blu-ray was big. So maybe it's still as easy to find. If it's still available to find, I will put a link from Amazon on the description. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. So until next time, this is the Geek saying good journey.